So I was 8 or so, and the day she walked out, I don't remember what day it was, I just remember it happening, and I was playing PlayStation, like the original gray little square PlayStation. You pop the tray up and put the disc in, and I heard my parents fighting upstairs, and I didn't know what that was about. And I go to look up the stairs, and I see them fighting, and I hear them fighting, and my mother told me to call the cops. I hesitated, and I had to make a choice there, or I didn't realize I was doing this, but I had to pick my mother or my father, and she made me make that choice. I didn't call the cops. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. And she called the cops. And I remember they came, and they didn't take my dad away, but she left. And she later came back, but it wasn't for it wasn't like she was coming back to be a mother again.
I'm going in to see Dr. Barnes today. She is a developmental psychologist professor here at the University of Oklahoma, and I hope she will have some understanding of how motherlessness affects a person.
Attachment theory tells us two things. The first is that having an attachment to a caregiver is a prerequisite of normal human development. So if you don't have this emotional attachment to a caregiver early in development, you're not going to develop normally in terms of your abilities to relate to other people and form relationships with other people. The second thing attachment theory tells us is that the qualities of our relationships with caregivers early in life are going to set what they call internal working models. So that means that they're going to affect how you see others and yourself as you grow older. So the characteristics of that early attachment relationship are going to inform whether you see yourself as a lovable person who can be loved. They're going to inform whether you see other people as trustworthy and worthy of your love, or whether you would just be better off avoiding relationships altogether. So what attachment theory tells us is that these early relationships with our caregivers, with our parents, are really going to set the model for how we deal with relationships as adults.
I remember back in the 5th grade, we had just moved, my family had just moved, and I was a new kid at school again, and one of my classmates, Amanda, I still remember her name, she came up to me during one of my first recesses there, and she invited me to play with her and her friends during recess, but I looked at her, I didn't really trust her, I didn't really know her, and I said no thanks. And I lost a friend then, I think, in that moment.
I remember that day when she stepped out. My dad and I were sitting upstairs in my room, and it was cloudy, but the light shone through the windows under our backs, and we were just taking it all in. I was shocked, and he told me it wasn't my fault, and that has stuck with me to this day. I think about it sometimes, and it keeps me out of the rut. It keeps me going, really.
I really dreaded. There came a point where I dreaded going to see her. And one Christmas, I remember, I was like 13, and I was so afraid to go visit her for that Christmas. And I got there, and I was overwhelmed with anxiety. And nowadays, the thought of me visiting her or her coming to see me for a big event in my family, I have anxiety and fear at the thought of seeing her.
Faith, family, and friends really help me from just not being miserable all the time. And faith makes friends family, and by faith I mean Jesus. And some of my closest friends in college have really helped me out. We got Josh, his spirit animal is basically Beaker from the Muppets. And Andy, I always asked him for rides, and he never asked for anything in return. And, Michael, he's basically like the little brother I never had, except he's a week older than me. And then there's Clayton, who helped me talk about any of this. I wouldn't be able to acknowledge this if it wasn't for his influence in my life. Yeah. He helped me realize that I have baggage, that everyone has baggage, but some of us don't acknowledge it till our midlife crisis. Let love in, because it is more fulfilling than everything else. Because you are worthy of love.